We got smoke, Brad.
We do.
We got smoked. Yeah. Fernando Mendoza was on McAfee. It was awesome to see him appear on McAfee. We finally got that appearance. He's QB1 for sure. There's been a bunch of quarterbacks dropping out of the class of 2026. There's been a lot of chatter about whether or not, like, what the Jets should do, what they shouldn't do, all that. Things like this McAfee interview are going to be huge for Mendoza to kind of win over the general media. But again, if you're going to turn on the film and watch football and kind of understand what makes teams good, like, yeah, you want Fernando Mendoza on your football team. But I thought one of the funniest things that came out of that, I can't remember if it was in that interview or not, but he had at some point had a conversation with Daniel Jones.
Fernando did?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that part of the interview.
What do you think Fernando and Daniel Jones talked about?
Just, how to be successful in the league and, how to be a professional. I think and talking to any NFL quarterback would be helpful in Fernando Mendoza's situation. Especially, like, I'm a guy who has the philosophy of, like, yeah, I think older quarterbacks are better. Like, I wouldn't start like, if I was running a team, I don't know if I would even draft a rookie quarterback unless I was, like, so sold on him like I was with, like, a Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, which is kind of a tough one to say, but, a lot of things off the field impacted his career and injuries as well. But yeah, I think, older the better. Than you're seeing it with, like, Darnold and Daniel Jones kind of figuring out later in their careers. Geno Smith's another great example of that. He's kind of getting washed, kind of dipping back in terms of he might be a little too old to play. But yeah, I think, there's a lot to be said about, kind of the time it takes and not to get discouraged about early failures in your career, because you can easily bounce back in terms of what we're seeing from other quarterbacks in the league. So I think it's a great person to talk to. And obviously both Indiana quarterbacks.
And doing a lot of winning. He also talked about Omar Cooper's catch. He cursed on ESPN, which I thought was hilarious, and showed kind of like a different side. Like, we could talk about Barstool Tate and the Ohio State fans in a minute, but it's like, guy's good at what he does, man. Guy's good at what he does. The Indiana offensive line is a Joe Moore Award semifinalist. Obviously something we saw coming, but just cool to see those guys get that recognition, and obviously a pretty prestigious award. They're in the running for it.
There's a few other semifinalists announced, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Aiden Fisher was on Big Ten Network's The Journey. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. Big Ten Network does a really good job on that.
Didn't I call before the year Omar Cooper, Surratt, Blitnikoff semifinalists?
I'll have to go find the clip. But yeah, Omar Cooper and Surratt, Blitnikoff semifinalists. The duo is on the list. Makes Brad look like a genius. I remember when the like, it was preseason, like, top 10 receivers in the Big Ten, and Omar Cooper wasn't on the list, and we were just, like, freaking out. We were like, how is this possible? Like,
we're having conniptions on this podcast. The fact that no one was talking about Omar Cooper before the year, and it was like he had 600, 700 yards on a playoff team. Like, where's the hype? Like, any other receiver with that type of production on a playoff team gets the first team all conference nod. But I guess it's Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, to their credit, very distracting off-season hype. So I will show some grace, I guess, because they are really good too. I was actually talking to someone in the sauna randomly today about Indiana, Ohio State. I swear to God. And it was so funny because, like, breaking it down, like, we're really like the same team this year. We got this Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback, got some good running back depth, no true, like, one guy, but, they're all really solid. 2 elite receivers, a top O-line. I know Ohio State wasn't nominated for the Joe Moore, but it's Ohio State. I'm sure their O-line's just fine.
And draft pick or 2 on it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're good. Mikowski couldn't break in there, so I'm sure they're decent. And then, probably 1 and 2, 1A, 1B defenses in the country. They're pretty identical, and I just can't wait for that game.
Yeah, the biggest advantage, and I really just haven't opened the floodgates on my Ohio State stuff, and I'm obviously it's not game week. We got a little bit of a ways to go, but it's like the biggest difference in all of Indiana's losses last year was their inability to handle the crowd noise. And they're not going to, like, I'm not saying that opposing fan bases aren't going to travel well, but like they have a road game against Purdue and then they don't play a true road game again until 2026.
And they also won their 3 tough road games this year. So
so it's like they're not going to play in an environment where crowd noise will not affect, like the moment might get big and like there's going to be obviously other factors, but crowd noise will not be a prevailing factor in why these games get decided. It's going to be more so on the football field. And I think if you eliminate the crowd noise, last year's game is significantly closer. So definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. And I mean, they just had those weird mistakes, right? I mean, T-Cal brought it up, right? The false.
Well, when you have 100,000 people screaming like F you, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a lot harder to concentrate.
Yeah, they did. I won't forget how they came in there and scored on their first possession. I
ran the ball down their throats. But it's listen, you watch teams come down in Indiana and have like really good scripted drives, and then they score 7 points all game. It turns out Indiana's allowed 5 touchdowns all year, whatever.
Last year's team is just not as good as this year's team. That's what we were saying all off season. The difference is it was a group of 5 all-star team, and now they upgraded in terms of their level of talent that they're bringing in through the portal, bringing in guys from Cal, Maryland, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Colorado, all these different Power 4 teams, and that's the main difference. And it seems like Ohio State fans are still thinking that we're there when it's almost like they didn't realize what we did to Oregon, and they're kind of discrediting it, or they're just a little jealous because they couldn't pull it off.
Well, I think it's a lot of like the loudest person in the room usually has something to hide. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like you're like, I'm not, how many times can you repeat I'm not nervous about this game before it comes to fruition? But in terms of what this past weekend was, it was a massive recruiting weekend for Indiana. They had about 150 people on campus, a lot of really, really positive buzz. So hopefully this week we'll see some fallout. We'll see some movement. We'll hear some rumors and things like that start to churn. But a lot of really, really positive momentum on the recruiting trail for the Hoosiers.
I'm pumped. I mean, we're locked into this year. I mean, we got.
Let me tell you something that'll help you lock in. Let me tell you something that'll.
We got an Ohio State game. We got a quarterfinal game, a semifinal game, and a natty. We have 5 games left.
Yeah, it's like mid-season.
That's like half a season for most.
Yeah, that's why we're doing that's why at the end of the smoke we're doing the mid-year Smokies watch list review.
There we go. Yeah, because it's mid-season. I like this. I like this bit. This is a good bit.
Yeah.
It's one of our best yet.
One of what else is a good bit, Brad? Marty Mush is on the other side. Marty Mush continues to think he's the only person leading the anti-Indiana brigade, and the fact that he continues to be as far away from this Indiana football team as you could possibly be is just, it's a good thing. Stay away from this team.
I haven't heard a lick. Usually Marty Mush enters my timeline, but I haven't heard a lick from him, to be honest.
I've been quote tweeting him too. Well, you don't see any of my tweets. You don't like any of my stuff anyway. Like
I've straight up haven't been on Twitter in like 5 days.
I called Brad today. I was like, "Hey, Brad, do you want to retweet the podcast me and you host?" And then it wasn't just like an immediate. It wasn't like an immediate like, yeah, I'll do that. It was like a 30-second pause, and he's like, I guess like
I'm just
trying to help us.
I'm just not doing it right. I'm just not seeing your shit. I don't know. I gotta stick with my following, I guess, and I don't know, I gotta turn on notifications for you.
I don't know if you want
to figure something out
for me. I tweet too much. Stephen Daley leads the Big Ten in tackles for loss this year. I tweeted my little hint for who the guest was going to be using the Buffton Prime screenshot of Stephen Daley being listed as a 5-star. But it's like when somebody like T-Cal says that kid's a really good football player and he's going to make an impact, and then he goes to this Brian Haynes, Buda Williams, Pat Kuntz, Kurt Signetti concocted defense, of course I'm going to believe the guy's going to produce. So like, am I that surprised that he's statistically producing like this? No, not really. Based on how many snaps per game he's playing, it's ridiculously impressive. But like I've seen enough of the evaluation process to trust when like a buffed and prime 5-star is going to be a good player. So like Stephen Daley dominating at this level is awesome, but I can't say I'm like that surprised about it. Like T-Cal told us this in May.
What's kind of scary is that we might have to start following the transfer portal in during the playoffs.
Yeah, it's gross. And there's no second transfer window, which is where Indiana did a lot of their damage. I think Pons, West, Wyatt, Daley, at least off the top of my head, were late transfer window.
Yeah, this year was only Wyatt and Daley.
No, but I'm just saying in terms of like the last 2 years, they have done pretty well in the late spring portal.
It's just going to incentivize kids to go to a place sooner.
But I don't even want to talk about the portal. Like I saw,
I think the spring
shout out to the
spring portal doesn't make any sense.
I was gonna say like shout out to Hoosier Huddle, but like I saw an article from them that was like talking about like portal ads, and I was like, or like talking about like a portal primer, and I was just like, there's way too much season left to be thinking about.
Like, did you see the notification? Did you see it? Sam Levitt's going to go. The Sam Levitt campus shopping him around.
That was brutal. That was a brutal notification. That was as bad as the Lane Kiffin stuff.
Can Sam Levitt beat out Alberto Mendoza? That's it. That's a hell of a quarterback battle in my mind. Like,
I'm not having this conversation during the season. I'm riding with the guys in the room, and we'll have a
question. It is big mad respect to Alberto.
Yeah, these aren't things I'm thinking about right now. Like I couldn't. I have not thought enough about that to give it a real answer, and I'm not going to.
You brought it up, and then you were just like, "I'm not going to bring it up." But
no, I said it's too early to be like I was shouting out Hoosier Huddle, but I'm just saying like I saw them write a transfer portal primer, and I was just like, "Oh, we're doing that already!" Like,
right.
Ooh, like it feels early.
Yeah, it is. It is early.
Shout out Hoosier Huddle is awesome. It's not like great content over at Hoosier Huddle.
Fantastic.
Shout out to IU Reactionaries, Jamie Jordan.